Hi, I'm Brian, and this is Olive. She's 12 years old, and we're finding that she has more difficulty with stairs in her advancing years. And she recently fell down these deck steps, tearing her foot open and exposing the bone. So Heather and I have taken her to the emergency vet to get her stitched up. After the title screen, I will be showing the injury. A warning to you, it is a little gory, but I think it is beneficial to observe this type of injury, learn how it heals, and how to do regular bandage changes. These are the exposed tarsal and metatarsal bones in Olive's foot. The flap of peeled back skin is still there, it just needs to be stretched back over the bone and stitched down. Gross. She will need to be sedated for this procedure, which is very stressful for a senior dog whose heart is just not as efficient as it used to be. We are currently investigating the possibility that Olive could have a heart murmur, which we will look into further in the next video. While stitching the wound closed, the emergency vet discovered that, unfortunately, some of the skin was not salvageable and would not be able to completely close up the injured area. On a positive note, this allowed Heather and I to learn about the different ways that skin heals. There are two types of cutaneous healing in skin wounds. There is healing by first intention or primary union, in which there is a cut that's able to close up on its own, maybe with the help of stitches. The main point is that the edges of the flesh are able to reconnect. The second intention of healing, or secondary union, is when the wound has so much surface area that you cannot reconnect the edges of the tissue. It's all torn up in the middle and you cannot immediately close that up. Granulation tissue is going to fill in that opening with microscopic blood vessels which will cover over the surface. Wound contraction will then pull in the surrounding skin inwards. And when the surrounding skin cannot be pulled in any further, the center of the wound will fill in with scar tissue. Okay, that is some of the most challenging stuff I've ever repeated back into the camera, but I do have a better understanding of how this wound is going to heal. So now we just need to ride out the next 2 or 3 weeks until that healing cycle is complete. In the meantime, Olive's bandages are going to need to be changed every other day. So Heather's going to demonstrate how we do that.
Cut your bandage off, okay? Alright, I'm just cutting off the bandage that we put on so we can see how it looks and change it. An important part of a good first aid kit are good scissors. These are not them. Just getting this sticky tape off of her skin as gently as possible. The first time we did a bandage change, the previously applied ointment looked really gross, as a little blood had mixed in with it. Once we got that all cleaned up, the wound looked pretty healthy. We cleaned it with a Chlorhexidine solution, which is a disinfectant that we dilute with water. It's effective against viruses, bacteria, as well as fungus and yeast. It can be easily ordered online through Amazon or Chewy.com. So we've got her wound all cleaned back up. I'm gonna put on some antibacterial ointment. Next, we covered the wound with a non-stick, non-adhesive pad so nothing sticks to the granulation tissue. After that, we wrap it with this rolled gauze to give it some padding in case she bumps it into anything. You're being a good patient. This bandage is just kind of to hold that one in place. Finally, we cover it all with this elastic adhesive tape. This will stick to Olive's skin above and below the gauze to seal it all in and hold it in place. We couldn't find this at any local pharmacies, but we could order it online through most veterinary supply websites and of course Amazon. Now we've changed her bandage and we're good for 2 more days.
Of course now, all that Olive wants to do is chew off the wrappings and lick her leg, so now she has to wear her muzzle most of the time while this heals. We had to cover the muzzle with tape so that she couldn't get her tongue between the gaps and continue to lick it. Of course, with the tape covering the entire muzzle, we found that Olive couldn't drink any water while wearing this. So we've ordered these guards that go inside of the muzzle and are cable tied down through these holes. If you want to order these online, these are called a stool guard, also known as a poop guard. The primary function is to stop your greyhound from snacking in the backyard. We have not had this as a problem, but we have heard of other people who have, and it is disgusting. So in addition to the stool guard, I have a few more items to put into my first aid kit, all of which can be found at your regular pharmacy, except for that elastic tape that Heather mentioned. As you saw earlier, the bandage scissors Heather used are cheap and cannot cut anything. So we Googled medical supply store near me, and we found a place that sold much higher quality bandage scissors. These are solid metal and are way more durable. I recommend spending a few extra dollars to get these nice ones over the cheap ones. I really want to stress that the first aid kit does not substitute or replace going to the vet when an emergency arises. Its main purpose is to have things in it that will aid you in getting to the vet and certainly help you during the recovery process after you've come home. Getting Olive sedated and stitched up cost us $600. Using the items in this first aid kit allowed us to do the bandage changes at home rather than scheduling follow-up appointments every other day for the 3 weeks it took her wounds to heal. That saved us a lot of time and a lot of money. Now, it helps that we were experienced and we felt comfortable doing this, which is convenient because 2 months later, Olive fell down the deck stairs again and tore open the other foot. So it was back to the emergency vet. We found that a bread bag nicely fit the shape of her foot, and it kept the wound and our van clean. We put a little bit of tape around the end of the opening to close it above the heel bone. This allowed her to walk around without it falling off. The vet did a wonderful job, again, of patching her up, and we did regular bandage changes for the 3 weeks that followed until it was all healed. And now Olive has matching scars on the back of both of her feet. After paying a second $600 bill, I am not eager to be invoiced by the emergency vet for a third time. So now I guide Olive down the deck stairs at a pace I know she can handle. Sighthounds in general have thinner skin, which is why the edges of these stairs tore her foot up so bad. The skin had no body fat underneath to absorb the impact, just bone. Another breed of dog probably wouldn't have been fazed by this. As I said earlier, it was a little dicey sedating Olive so that she could get her stitches because we suspect she has a heart murmur. So in the next episode of The Greyt Show, we're going to get an ultrasound and we're going to find out what's going on in here. A link to that episode as well as the previous can be found over here. I'll also put a link to the first aid video that I made last year. It'll be right next to the link to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Follow us on social media at Greyt Show. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day.